Hello, and welcome along to the stream tonight. So, I missed a stream on Friday lunchtime because I thought I was coming down with the cold basically, and I thought it didn't think it was worth doing the stream and virtually infecting everyone. So I took a break and felt better for it, so that was good. So back tonight. The plan for tonight is to continue looking into some of this Visual Studio Code extension for Chocolatey. A couple of things I want to try and tackle tonight. The first was to review a PR that Maurice sent in to the Chocolatey language server repository. So Maurice was responsible for creating the first implementation of the URL checking that is done within the Visual Studio Code extension. Now, what I mean by that is, as you're writing a new spec file, if you happen to put a URL into the new spec somewhere, the extension will attempt to validate that URL is valid, and by that it will reach out to the internet, it'll make sure it gets a valid response, and if it doesn't, it'll put a red squiggly underneath the URL to indicate that it's invalid. Now, as a result of doing that work also went into the package validator. Now, when we merged that code into package validator, we found that there were certain circumstances with the URL checking that it just flat out didn't work, right? Oh, I'm just getting word that the chat isn't working. I don't know how to fix that. Let's maybe spend a little bit of let's have a little look and see if there's something obvious. Crop screen. Oh, it's a browser. It's this thing. Let's maybe just how do we do that? Streamlabs. I'll just go off screen a little bit and see if we can't get this working. Sign in with Twitch, I guess. Authorize. Let's get that. Enable CloudBot. Engage your viewers with no, I don't know what that CloudBot is. Entertainment and moderation features. Not today. No. Oh, I just want to sign in. Please. Just let me sign in. Okay. I don't even remember how I set this up, to be honest. So for those of you just arriving, the chat seemingly isn't working, and I'm just trying to figure out how I might have set that up. So let's chat box. I'm sure it was a chat box. Click to show widget URL. Sure. Copy. Oh, I'm assuming. So I'm talking to Maurice on Slack now because he's sending me Slack messages. I'm assuming that you're sending me messages on chat because I'm not seeing them in my little right-hand box. So I'm going to assume that it's something broken there. But I'm going to do this and can try sending a message in chat, Maurice, if you don't mind. What's going on there? And if you send a follow-up on Slack once you sent me something. Oh, there we go. Oh, Stevie's in there. So Stevie's chat's coming through. Can someone else, if you're out there, Anna, fix it. Manfred, I see that you're maybe out there as well, and Arthur, can you maybe send me? Okay, so it seems like it might be working. So let's just maybe do a quick test here as well. How do I send a message? Is this thing on? There we go. Right, seems to be working. Okay, chat's fixed. So Maurice, I'm not entirely sure what's going on with your chat box, but hopefully you can fix it. So Kim's just right. Hello, Kim. How we doing? Arthur, thank you very much for sending a message. I appreciate it. Right. So where was I? Right. So yeah, package validator. We moved the URL validation code to package validator. We merged it in a package validator, and package validator started being unable to validate certain URLs, and that is because of the idiosyncrasies of how URLs work. For instance, I needed to, if you don't include a cookie container in the HTTP web request, then things don't work. If you don't specify the user agent, then certain websites just return a 404. And if you don't include an accept header, things go wrong. And if it goes further, we started trying to use a user agent string specific to package validator. So we said user agent package validator with the version number, and it didn't work. So you have to specify a much more specific user agent, which I just stole this one from what Fiddler was doing. And with all of those things, then potentially there are other issues like the versions of TLS and the ciphers available on the machine don't match up with what the server is actually requesting. So it throws a wobbler and it raises this secure channel validation. And then there are other ones that certain websites use the Cloudflare DDoS mechanism in front of the actual website. So all of these little if statements and little settings that are in here, they were found basically by playing spot the difference between what Fiddler was doing and what Package Validator was attempting to do. It wasn't a fun little couple of days figuring out all these things. But Package Validator seems, cross fingers, reasonably steady. So what Maurice has done here is he has merged, or essentially he's referred to it as backsynced the URL validation code from Package Validator into the Chocolatey language server. So I was getting ready to merge this. Just seeing a message from Stevie. Not a problem. Happy to have you here when you are. So that's good. So it could be. I mean, it could be Kim saying that it's maybe in a specific format. It could be that, but it was the Edge package, the new Edge package. If you, like I say, we were just trying package validator / version number, and was it a 404 or was it a 500 error? It was coming back with something, but as soon as I changed the user agent to be this, it started working. So, and Maurice is back. So Maurice is able to connect again, so that's good. So I was getting ready to merge this because I thought, well, if this is a direct copy of what's in Package Validator, I'm just gonna throw it in. But then I noticed that the CI is failing. So the CI is failing for a Git version is failing. Git version works locally on my machine because I've checked out the PR and ran it and it works fine. So I was literally just at the kind of fault finding stage of trying to figure out what's going on there. I have a vague recollection that there is a issue. No, you see, we're on an older version of Git Release Manager, so it can't be that. There is a couple of issues floating around Git Release Manager, or Git version just now. Sorry, I keep saying Git Release Manager. Oh, no, I was looking at the wrong thing. What version of Git version? Oh, so we are on the 365. That's an ancient one. But I was going to say that there are some issues on Git version, specifically with running on AppVeyor at the minute. So if I go in here and search for app there. Sequence contains no. GitHub actions, no. Git version command line throws exception on appver. I knew that there was something in here. Can someone who speaks noob or leet speak tell me what ITNOA stands for? Because I don't know what it is. I have a problem with git version cake and appver, blah blah blah. The error is a 500 error. That's what I saw the first time. It's a 500 error. 500 internal server error. What's going on there? Should be interesting to see how many websites will break when Google eventually trims out certain information from the user agent. Interesting is one word. Super annoying would be another two. Web exception. Oh no, hold on. That's different. That's different. That's when it's trying to set the version number. So why is it failing to set the version number? And also, hold on. No, it can't be that because it's a PR. So why would that be failing? That is a little bit strange. I'm also tempted just to merge it. Feeling that's the kind of mood I'm in this evening. I'm just going to honk it in and see if it passes the build. Environment. Yeah, because I was thinking, hoink. You've never heard of hoink? Just hoink it in. Just like, yeah. Don't know what to tell you. That works over here. I don't know what to tell you. No, I already ran the build again. That was the first thing I did, Maurice. I reran it just before I came on stream, and both times it failed with the same error. I'm just gonna say sod it. I'm relatively convinced that it is that was the wrong control click. There's already one there. I'm relatively convinced that it is. I'm not convinced it's anything actually. But you know what? That's fine. Let's just do it. Because I wanted to get back onto the issue that we started looking into at the end of last Monday's stream, which was fixing the language server client in TypeScript, because we found that there were issues with the updating to the latest version, and it was a known documented issue that we needed to look at. But let's see if the build runs. While we're waiting, do we want any more Scottish words? I shared recently with the Chocolatey team that my daughter is currently practicing a Scottish poem for Burns Night. So they got tasked, their homework was to learn a Scottish poem, and there are lots of cool Scottish words in it, and it's so bizarre hearing it coming out of my 6-year-old's mouth. She's doing really well with it though, but it's good fun. Oops, daisies. I dropped my fidget cube. Oh, it's way over there. It's way over there. I won't be able to use it anymore. Share it with us. Oh, hold on. Have I got it on this screen? Oh, let me. Photos. I took a photo of it because I shared it with. It'll be in Slack. Hold on. It'll be in the. Manfred might have already read it if he's in the. I think he's in the Slack. Let's see if I can find it. It's called Crocodile. Crocodile by J.K. Anand. Look at that. There it is. Look. Oh, it's telling. This is similar to the. So it's when duking in the River Nile. So duking is splashing about. When duking in the River Nile, I met a muckle crocodile. Muckle beans, huge. So I met a muckle crocodile. He flicked his tail and he flicked his E. He blinked his eye. Seen bared his ugsome teeth at me. Then says I. Oh no, hold on. Says I never saw the like. Cleaning your teeth, mon, be a fike. What sort of basin do you hae to brush a set of teeth like they? The crocodile said, Nineveh, I never brush my teeth at a. A wee bird reds them up, you see, and saves me money a dentist's fee. It's just brilliant. It's just brilliant. So many little cool little words in there. I had to explain this one to her because she thought that this was money, but it's not money. It's money, as in many. So it saves me many a dentist's fee, but money. Oh, it's good. It's great fun. Anyway, that's got nothing to do with code, but this is what she was learning to read at school. Great little language and on the go there. Oh, we're getting there. Inspect code. Getting there. I've got no reason to think that this. Well, actually. So the Git version step worked here, and it has written the build number. But I don't understand why it wouldn't have worked on the PR, because it's a PR, so it's not hydrating any of the environment variables, because it doesn't hydrate environment variables on a PR. So I don't understand. It's just passed. Okay, never mind. Right, okay, we're moving on. So git checkout develop git fetch upstream. Stevie Coaster, can you make anything of it? Glitch in the matrix. Regarding AppVer or the poem? Git rebase upstream develop. Regarding, it's a great poem, man. What's not to get? This is my favourite bit. A wee bird reds them up, you see. A wee bird cleans them up. Reds them up. That's great. Oh, that's great. Besom. A brush. Nineveh. Ugsome. That's a great word. Ugsome. That made me laugh when she brought it home. It really did. Okay, so PR. So 8 should have got closed. No, it didn't. So let's close this off. Beautiful. So this is the one that we want to look into, but let's just get push. Let's sync this up. So I know, Kim, you weren't on the stream last Monday, but one of the issues that we were running into was Chocolatey VS Code. So there was a breaking change in something. I sent myself a wee paper trail. So there was a link here. Oh, hold on. Oh, you did. Hold on. I never replied to your comment. Hold on. I think we need to think a little about what we should do with breaking changes implemented upstream. Namely, the bumping of the VS Code engine used like you tested on the stream. Basically, we need to decide what minimum version of VS Code that will be supported with the extension. I agree. If updating the engine is being done, then the extension will also be prevented to be installed on VS Code versions earlier than. Agreed. So what did we actually find though? Did we actually have to bump the engine version when we did this? Oh, we did. No, we found that the engine.vs code was, it hadn't been, we didn't need to touch that, did we? Or did we? What changes did we make so far? Back that one out. Don't think that. I did. I maybe did. Looks like I did. I did. But did we find that was necessary though, wasn't it? Yeah, I think you're right. Because it said here, if your engine is... Or did we actually need to bump it? Let's maybe roll it back and see if we can. So we added the types for that. Oh, you're right. Okay, so let's... It doesn't say we had to bump it, just that we need to switch to using the types VS Code. So maybe that's what we should start. That's maybe where we should start then. We should start by attempting to just switch over rather than bumping the engine. So let's have a sanity check. Let's just delete everything. Let's nuke the 7,000 node packages that are in there. And let's take this out too. And then we need to have a discussion about how we're going to get the language server DLL into play. So let's first of all, let's put this to 30. And let's put this back to 30. There we go. So we remove the post install step because that's what it told us to do. Remove the post install step from the package.json. We added that VS Code types package. And what have we done? We removed the VS Code one because we don't need that anymore. So we remove VS Code and we put in VS Code test. Okay. So let's save that and let's run it and see what happens. Because if this works, where we found we got to is it didn't cause an error anymore, which it was doing before, but it failed when it was then attempted to download or to run the language server DLL because it's not there. So where I was going to look, I was going to go. I've not heard back from Tyler. Actually, I was hoping to. I need to follow up with him. I was going to go and stick my nose into the PowerShell VS Code extension and see how they do it. So if anyone's got a link or can grab a link to the PowerShell VS Code extension and put it into the chat, that would be good. And then we can bring that up and we can have a wee sneaky peek at how they've done a few things, and we can maybe borrow it. Dun, dun, dun. Let's see, hold on. Show errors. So, thank you, Stevie. Copy link. Put this into here. So it looks like that didn't work, which is ever so slightly annoying. That's the same error we had before. Yes, absolutely. So in which case it looks like we will need to bump the engine. So it doesn't really matter what we bump it to because we are changing something. So we'd be as well bumping to the current latest, which we found was 41. So if we run that one, and then we revert to what point that, namely bumping the... I'm not going through that, Maurice, no. Well, okay, let's make sure that this was working the way we expect it to, and then we can decide on the best approach. VS Code test version, if I recall correctly. VS Code test version. Testing extension. Testing extension. This one. 33 releases. So 130 is the most recent. How can there be 33? Well, I guess there's earlier ones. Deprecated, blah blah blah. Oh, so it spun it up. So it did do it, but we will find in here. Oh, here. It's paused. And then over here, activating extension failed because it cannot find the language server module. Okay, so we can either make the bump and bump to change the required version of VS Code for this extension to run, or we can investigate further, but let's have a little look and see what they've got in here. So they're suggesting that they need, so they've already bumped to that one. And it would be interesting to see what VS Code language, they're on 521. Try finding the lowest version. Okay, so we went from... Okay, so we went from 130 to 141. So am I right in saying that there's literally going to be... That's not really that, is it? Do we think it's going to work with this? Oh, you want to do that sort of sort? Well, okay, we could do that. We can do that. I think it's still off doing something. Dun, dun, dun. I don't actually know which one it's using now. We'll have to run it again, I think, after this one, just to be on the safe side. You should also bump the types VS Code. Did I not do that one? Ooh, look at this. It's maybe going to work with... Oh, no, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. I'm with you now. Stop. I've caught up. So we changed that to 35. It'll be easier to find them over here. So down here at this one. 35. Yes. Go gadget. running. Running. Yes, but it should use the same constraint as the engine. Okay, we could do that. But this one's more explicit though, right? This is saying specifically use 135, whereas the other one's saying if there's a newer patch version, use that one. I think. But no, I agree that they should be the same. I think we got this for free from the IntelliSense in the package.json file when we added it. So that's the same error then, yes. Come on. Problems. Show errors. Yeah, that's the same thing. Okay, so let's put this constraint back in. So where do we want to go next? 38? 38. I'm going. 38. Run. See, I haven't got my fidget cube, so I'm playing with my ring. I should maybe go and get my fidget cube so I don't lose my ring and throw it away. I'm back. Got it. Die for it. Now, if we do this, then we should probably change the dependency in the Chocolatey new spec file so that it matches what we end up having the version as well. Is it going to hit the breakpoint that it was hitting before? It does. And off we go. And we get a pack. Okay, so that was 38. So it's working on 38. So bubble sort for the win. Back in here. So we did 35. We're at 38. 36. Well, it's only one. So it's either 36 or 37. So let's do 36. And let's do 36. It's going to be one or the other. So if it's 36 and it works, then we keep it because we've already tested 35. If not, we'll have to go back up the way and test 37. So 36 would be the preferred lower one. So we'll go with that one to start with. We should have put a bet on it. We should have taken bets and said who was going to win. But while that's off and running, we have, I think, a chocolate package in here. And we have a new spec. And in our dependencies, we will currently be listing 130. So we may change that. Oh, look, it's running. Just to correct one thing, hat means the latest minor release, tilde. Ooh. So is this not... Oh, so this is not actually doing what we... So this is actually working because we've included the tilde now? Because it's pulling... It'll now be using 1.41. Have I got that right? No, because we found that 38 wasn't working. No, I'm getting myself confused. Okay, so package lock.json file. So what is in there? So in here, we'd be searching for engine. No, we'll be searching for VS Code. So the types is currently at 141. Which is more what the user is allowed to use when the extension gets installed. Okay, so where does that leave us then? So it's currently running and working with 36. But I think if I put this back to 35, where we started with and it failed, I think it might work now. Because of this change. What do we think? Because this is a build time. This is for us. We don't ship the types. So let's do this then. Hold on. Let's put this back to. Well, let's go back then. So let's go back to this and back to this, right? That right? Or would I have to remove the entry in the lock file in order for it to kind of be reset? This is the part I've never truly understood about all these things. Well, I'm going to try running it again. See, that's the thing I don't understand. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I would kind of like to see this fail, if I'm honest. But it's not going to fail. In which case, I'm going to delete the lock.json file and have it regenerate it. And see if that. I'm going to go back to the beginning. So I'm going to say, take this one out. What's it failing? It's gone. It did. Okay. So I'm going to delete that folder. I'm going to delete the package lock.json file. And I'm going to run it again with 130, which is where we started. And let's see what happens. Typing on a tablet is a challenge. Let's see what happens here. Is Manfred doing his Monday ritual, by the way? He's been a bit quiet. If he is, then he's got his work ahead of him, unfortunately. Because I haven't looked at the moderation queue in a while. Things are ramping up at work. We've got lots of work on. So Is it called MMR then? Manfred Moderator Review? Or Manfred Moderator? It's taking longer to get there, but then it's rebuilding everything in the node modules folder. So let's... Oh, Manfred's Monday Ritual. I think there's a vaccine that we get in the UK when we're younger. Measles, mumps and rubella. That was the other thing that came to mind when you wrote that. But then, let's have a little look in here again and see where it got to. So if we search in here for VS Code. See, that's the part I don't get. Because... So the type, it's pulled down the latest version of the types. But how do I know what version of the engine it installed? Because the engine version is coming from... It's not going into the node modules folder, is it? Or is it? Node modules, VS Code. No, you see it didn't. It's not in there. So how do I know what? Oh, I see. I see. So at this point, we're saying, from an engine point of view, anything bigger than 130. So the engine use is the one running the VS Code instance. Okay, so by us saying we need a minimum of 130, but so our test here, we haven't validated that then, because my running version of VS Code is likely the latest. Yeah. So how do can I test with a specific version to validate that it's actually working? I would need to run and install this extension on a machine that only had 130 installed to see if it actually ran. Okay, so let's not bump it just now. So everything is in line at the minute. We've got 130. We have 130 for the engine. And the types is pulling in itself bigger than the other one. So the only thing we haven't validated is it runs on 130. So, but for now, we have fixed... Yeah. It completely blew it away and rebuilt it. I'm not actually sure I want to do that anymore. Yes, you could do that, but I mean that's kind of my main IDE at the minute. So if anyone wanted to do that, then that would be great. That's okay, Manfred. I was just asking. There wasn't a you must do this. It was just a I'm not doing that just now. This is no. I've got that's a squirrel running down a hole that we're not chasing after. We've got things we need to do tonight. So this was... I don't want to change all that I don't want to change all that locked.json stuff. No, I don't want to do all of that. But what I will do is run it one more time, just to see if it's going to change anything based on the things, because it will. I mean, so on this host machine, I don't have the Chocolatey test environment. But if someone has access to the said Chocolatey test environment and wants to run that and then clone and run this code, I would be much appreciative of said person. And I guess I could do it over here, but you know what? No. It's a rabbit down a hole. We're not going chasing after it. I want to get this done, and then I want to look at something else. Oh yes, we're going to have a sneaky peek at Tyler's code to see how they are downloading their language server. Right. So that, I didn't mean to do that. Close the wrong one. PR32 is not going into the repository that we wanted to go into, was it? We decided that last week as well. So back up here, and we need to go to this one. That would definitely be an interesting foray, Maurice. Oh my goodness. That copy paste is, there we go. Okay. So we're in that branch. Oh, what is it doing? So back over to code, and we will say, where was that link? This one. Copy. Int. Up. Change the testing packages based on this article. Paste. I'm going to commit that, and then we should be able to git push upstream. Yes, that should bump. Mother Hubbard. Git fetch upstream. Dependabot's updated that PR. Git rebase upstream. npm. I'm not Dependabot, sorry. No, that's not what we want. Where did it go? Let's grab the branch name again. Git base upstream. Should probably have done that first. Git push upstream. Should get us there though. So this should get refreshed. Sent. Refresh. There we go. 2 commits. One which is to bump. The other one is now building on CI. CI.app here. Build. Building. Figlet for the win. Building. So we've fixed, this was showing lots of vulnerabilities before, so all the updates that the Dependabot has been doing has removed all of those vulnerabilities, so that's good. This red text is expected because of the usage of, I think standard out is causing that. Do we need permissions on AppVer, by the way? Are we talking about the we as in you and Kim? Probably. I probably need to hook you up there. Yes. Because, yeah, you probably don't have access just now. So let's do this. So we did that. There we go. Yeah, no, we do need to do that. We will need to get that. Kim's already got it because of access to the Chocolatey core team packages repo that's now in the same place. So I'll need to get you added, Maurice. If you could follow up with me on that tomorrow, maybe we could look into getting that. Yes, thank you. Okay, so we were going off to have a wee sneaky peek in here. And we were going to see how they are doing things in here. So let's have a little look. Where's their entry point? We should keep this one open. Package.json. Open that in a new tab. Let's close some of these off. Outsource main. So in source main. What are they doing? Lots of stuff. Debug sessions. Pest tests. Document selector. Create telemetry. Oh, we can do that later. Remind me later. Thank you. This. There we go. So I'm basically trying to figure out how we can do the equivalent of language server paths. Client options. I'm going to assume that they're newing up one of those. New. Huh. Or they're not doing it in here. Let's find that elsewhere then. Oh, I see. That looks promising. Oh, they have a find module. That sounds even more promising. But let's have a look in here. Look. Set language client. Debug session feature. Set language client. Start debugging. So I'm just going to have a read through this code and see if we can figure out where they are. I mean, I'm making a horrendous assumption here about how they're doing it, but let's keep going a little bit and see what we can find. See, this is not necessarily what I was hoping for. Let's maybe have a look for something a little bit more specific. See if we can find the right ballpark. Where's that? Import, fine. Here we go. New language client. Client options. On ready. Fetch the latest PowerShell releases from GitHub. Send the new language client to extension features so that they can register their message handlers. Okay, so it looks like they're getting it from... Is there a document selected in here too? Document selector. There is. Okay. Stevie's off. Good luck with that conversation. Let me know how you get on. I will be intrigued to find out the result. So where are we using server options? Oh, they're passed in there. So they were passing them in. I saw a new language client. Where did it go? Language client. There, it was that one. Previous. Connection Funk. Connect Funk. Where's Connect Funk? Connect Funk. Connect session details on resolve writer and socket. Server options. So we got here by searching for client options, didn't we? So is there a server options somewhere? No. Okay. I'm not clear on how they're working their magic then. Because my understanding was that they have a implementation of the LSP. Let's have a little look in here. LSP. After several months of work, so what is this saying? Let's have a look. LSP. Oh, I did the wrong search again. LSP. In this release of the preview extension, we've merged significant architectural work into PowerShell editor services. After several months of work, now uses OmniSharp LSP library to handle language server protocol. Right? Re-architect PowerShell. Oh, so it's a different solution. Move the OmniSharp work onto master. Okay. So how does this get into the other one? Is my question. Editor services. Look, hold on. Start editor services. Editor services. You see, I think as part of their build, they merge it all together. Resolve editor paths before. Yes, path else. Go up a level, try and find it. Blah blah blah. Can it be found? Upload artifacts. And then they are. I bet they've got a build editor services. They do. Okay. So that's how they're doing it. I don't know if you're still around, Kim. So it looks very much like they are fetching the code for PowerShell editor services, building it, and then putting the result into the right place. So that's how we were doing it initially. But I think what we said was that we would want to publish the DLL somewhere for the Chocolatey language server and download it once it's being attempted to be activated. So editor services. There's lots of stuff happening there. Okay. It's a solution. Yeah, so we could release extension. Yes, I mean, I like that idea. I do like that idea. I like the idea of being able to ship a new version of the language server with new rules, new validations, and then for a VS Code instance to simply download the new one if it's there. It means a little bit of work on our part, but not out with the realm of possibility. So let's have a little think about that then. So right now, the Chocolatey language server isn't going anywhere, is it? ci.appfair. Publish chocolate packages. Publish my get packages. So currently, I'm not ignoring your comment, Maurice. I'm coming back to it. I'm not ignoring your comment, Maurice. I'm coming back. I want to sign in here first. Just to check where we're at. Copy. Paste. Give 13. So, where did it push it to? Oh no, okay. Didn't push it anywhere. Ugh. So GitHub releases is an option. It doesn't help us in the test phase. So what I'm thinking is that we may want some, not difficult, write a file with version number on GitHub pages and GitHub releases to download version. Check at the start and then download the file if it's different or non-existing. I mean, I think we're thinking along the same lines. So what was going through my head there was that, let's get back to a point that we can. So currently we provide some configuration that is what templates you want to use, and we provide the Chocolatey commands that are available. And then we also provide configuration specifically to how we configure the Chocolatey language server instance. So, i.e., disable it or a list of suppressed rules. So I was thinking that we might have a source to find it, so a URL to find it, and then a version number. So we could, for instance, default to NuGet, go to NuGet, try and find it. Now, as of right now, it won't find anything on NuGet because we don't publish to it. But we could publish the pre-release versions to somewhere else, MyGet, for example, and then we could just say latest version. And I think NuGet is what makes sense to me, because we could do it in GitHub releases, but that would mean but we could also do it in GitHub package repository, but GitHub package repository requires authentication for connection, so that wouldn't work. So I'm thinking NuGet is the right place for it. NuGet with some fallback source that we make available. And the reason I say that is because we already have code in another extension that is don't we? We have code for querying it anyway. If we go over here to cake build cake, and then look at its VS Code extension, then an individual by the name of Jorge added in a ton of work into here for add package, add in command, fetch package versions. So that came from in here, fetch package versions. He had some code that went up and fetched how did it actually work? Promise window.set version and then fetch versions URL, selected package name, index.json, and then he was because yeah, the way that this works, if we were to go to something like here and go cake, add in from NuGet, and we search for cake.gem, then it's reaching out to the internet. It's found the package name, and then it finds the available package versions. So you can ask it to go then, and so this one, although it's reaching out to the NuGet, it hasn't actually downloading the package, but we could make it do that last part. But the querying of the API is kind of already been done. But now I'm wondering whether that will work if we go to the likes of something like MyGet, because that JSON endpoint is likely to be different. There's not going to be that index.json on something like MyGet, is there? Let's have a look. On kit contrib / index.json. No. That was maybe a little bit too much to hope for. But also, let's try it on here. No, that didn't. Feed details. Oh no, hold on, look. It does have that. So it's a v3 feed is the index.json one. So what was it doing here? Versions URL selected package name index.json. NuGet.org. Cake. NuGet. Possibly. Copy. NuGet seems to have disappeared. Control F. Index.json. Yeah, so that seems to be for the top level feed, whereas if I go into here and say, nope, what URL is it using? Let's just have a little wander around here. Constants, up, up, up. Constants, NuGet versions URL. Let me see what's that. I think that's where it's going. copy /cake /index.json. There we go. So that's what's being used on NuGet. So the question is there anything similar on MyGet that would allow us to or we would need to do it in a way that was compatible. So it's not using something specific to I don't know the best way to do this. Hello, Mr. Brand New MVP. How are you? So, yes, I am hesitant to do that, given that V2 is older, let's say. Oh, I don't know what to do for the best. But yes, Brett's just joined the chat there, and Brett got some good news. What are we on now? 2 days ago, and he was made I'm going to say PowerShell MVP, which was some good news indeed. I don't know what to do for the best. I'm struggling tonight. Let's have a look and see what else there is on the plate. Yeah, there's lots of things we need to do, but we kind of need to decide how to do this part before we can do some of these other ones. So we kind of have to get this working. How do you do that for... I'm confused by the question, Maurice. Yes, it well CDM. That's a lot of TLAs in there. MVP, CDM. Find a Microsoft MVP. Oh, Cloud and Data Center Management. Of course it is. Cloud and Data Center Management. Let's have a look and see if he's up here yet. Brett Miller. See if he's in here. Dun dun dun. There's Adam. Oh, he's not there. See, no, not there yet. Oh no. Oh, it's Brett Lonsdale. Brett Miller. Or maybe not. It's maybe not cycled through yet, is it? Or have you created your profile yet? I think I'm in here. Should be in here. I was going to say this. That's not two Gary Parks. I'm not sure why Randolph West has come up in that search. Nope. Busted. I'm spelling your name right. Brett Miller. No, it's not coming up. Don't know what to tell you. Shortest MVP in this. You haven't violated the NDA already, have you? I hope not. But Maurice, do you mean cake.recipe? Is that the recipe that you're referring to? Or are we talking about something else? Because if you are talking about cake.recipe, I mean, yeah, okay. So we're talking cake.recipe utilizes cake. So cake does all of that work for us. And so Martin Bjorkstrom essentially rewrote the NuGet.exe for the limited use set that we have, which is just for fetching and restoring NuGet packages. So cake.recipe makes use of that implementation for doing that. But it uses the NuGet client libraries to do that. So all of the hand-holding, handshaking, tree shaking, whatever we're going to call it, is done in the NuGet client libraries in C#, which we won't have access to that here. So the question, let's have a quick look at what else Kim said, which was the VS Code C#. And we'll look at all of GitHub. There's a lot of them. Let's go the other way, because that could take a while. Let's have a look at here. And this one. Powered by OmniSharp. Let's have a look. Put it in Chrome. And let's have a look at its repository. Official C# support for Visual Studio Code, powered by OmniSharp. It looks promising. Maybe. What does it say is in here? MSVS Code. Name C#. It looks promising, right? This package is MS Code C#, yeah. So maybe not all of it is, but maybe some of it. So let's... So what would we look for in here? Let's have a look for OmniSharp. Debug. Tests. Options. Oh, because there are... Oh, let's go that route. And let's have a look in here and look for settings. And let's have a look in here for OmniSharp. Because you can specify different OmniSharp path. Copy setting ID. Where does that get us? Options. path is equal to that. Exclude paths. It's just returning the options. So what was that a call to? This was a call to read options.read. That's the test. Oh, you hid. So Brett's saying he hid his profile. What's Maurice found? www.myget.org/f/chocolatey GUI API/v3/index.json. Interesting. What does that get us? Because I would imagine that there is a 0.17, 16. I'm not convinced what that gets us. I don't know what that really gets us, Maurice. It's a good shout, but cake. What do we need? Chocolatey GUI. Chocolatey GUI? No. GUI. Registration. I was just wondering that. Oh, hold on. Look, what's that one? There was mention of a flat container. Slash index. No. Flat container. Base URL of Azure Storage where NuGet registration info for repository signatures. Container. What do we have here? Flat container. Chocolatey gooey index.json. Oh. Okay. I think that would mean that we might be able to do something. So if we were to go to cake.bakery, I think we could maybe make something work there, Maurice. Okay, that's an amazing find. So let's finish off the thought process I was just having. Store it somewhere, indeed. So let's. It wasn't that one, was it? No. Okay. So let's grab that. And if nothing else, let's put this here. Because this gives us something to work with, perhaps. And the other example I used was this one. So file, save as. We'll be back to this one, no doubt. So I get URLs. Should be able to replace any v3 URL, I believe, be it NuGet v3 or custom. So the one that was being used for NuGet was what? NuGet.org/cake.recipe/ what was it? I've forgotten what it was again already. We went looking for it. So that's here. So that's the NuGet one. So that's the equivalent of. So we could go up to this one and ask for cake.bakery. And it would give us that. Okay. So that's the myGet one. That's the NuGet one. So if we use those, by default, we would be able to use the response should be the same for all v3 URLs. So that was the NuGet one. Let's get the myGet one back again. Versions with an array. That looks promising. Okay. So in theory, if we had that information, so we can say we could add a configuration option for our extension that says where to check for versions. And we could make a request to something like this that says what versions are available. We would then be able to say, grab it from there. If you don't have it locally, grab it from there. Otherwise, check the version that's installed locally, and if it's newer, pull it. Yes? Does that make sense? Please someone say that makes sense. And we could allow setting a specific version. So if you set a specific version, it will leave that one installed. If you say something like latest, then if there is a newer one, it'll pull it. And it'll do that from both the default production source, which would be for us NuGet, or from myGet. Okay, I can see how that would work. So that would mean over here, unstable. What does that mean? Unstable should be configurable. But I'm going to expand on that a little bit. What's that? Oh, look at that. Is that coming from an extension? Huh. Did not know about that. Or is that just built straight in? Oh no. npm support. I bet it's that. No, can't be that. I don't have it installed. Did not know about that. Right, yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So, what I was suggesting, I think we're talking about the same thing. What I was suggesting was that down here, we would have, let me just type it out, we would have, what would we even call it? I don't even know what to call it. Let's just call it something like download URL. Right, so this would be title download. Oh, I'm struggling. Download URL. Type string. Try again. Type string. There. Default is going to be, so we would use, for example, the NuGet one. So this is not right, but we would use this in here, right? And then if so that would be that's what we would ship, right? If someone, me, a developer, wanted to install the latest from the myget feed, I would come in here and change this. And then I would also have another that is package version. So in there I could say latest, which would always get me the latest one, or I could specify it as a specific version, and it would download and install that. In theory, the URL that the user specified should be the main API endpoint. Then check the JSON for the package address to get the URL we want from that. I don't know. Copy link. What's in here? Copy package base address. Base URL. Oh, so that's the equivalent of what we were getting back from that is the equivalent of what we were getting back from myget from Maurice's URL then. Because the one that Maurice gave was this one. So https myget.org/f/chocolatey GUI/API/v3 index.json. Let's go back here. So that's the equivalent then of that. And if we search in here for, what did you say it was? Package base address, which was this guy. Yeah. Why not a flag, please? Well, what if I, as a person, have internalized my language server and I've hosted it on a Nexus repository, and I want everyone in my organization to use a different feed, or I've created my own myget feed that is proxying to NuGet.org, and I've got a list of authenticated packages in it. Then I wouldn't want a flag that is to specify that production one comes from NuGet and development ones come from MyGet, because it might not be that. That's kind of why I wanted to hunt for something like this that makes it generic across any NuGet server. So anyone that implements a NuGet protocol, we can allow them to specify where to get the packages from. Yeah. So what Kim's shown us here is that if they give us the top level feed, which is this one, then we can find the base flat container implementation, and then by adding on the other bits, then we are able to get all the version information for that package, and from there we can then decide whether we want to download it or not. You can use this website to pretty print the JSON code, so it's a little easier to. I thought does Chrome not do that automatically? I thought it did. I thought it made it look pretty print. Look at that. Did I not have a Chrome add-in that did that? Doesn't matter. Chrome extension. JSON. Pretty. I thought I did. Pretty JSON. There's a whole ton of them. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. Okay, so that's. Have we got a plan then? So the plan is we will. I do think that VS Code actually allows you to format the JSON, so you could probably use that as well. The MyGet one, try that one. Oh, hold on. So this one, Control-A, copy. Back here. Control-A, paste. Pretty print. Beautiful. Okay, so if we add in a configuration option that is the NuGet v3 endpoint, then we may need to specify the package name as well, because the package name should be the same, but it could be different. So we would need the base v3 feed URL, the package name. From there, we could look up this thing. From there, we could find out what versions are available. And based on that information, we could download and stick it in the right place. Now, the right place, that brings up the next question. Where is the right place to download the URL? Well, we need to download and extract. Okay. So package name is hard-coded, but let's imagine we now, nutkeg is just a zip file, so we can extract the contents of the zip file. That's not a problem. So we get the nutkeg, we convert it to a zip, we extract it, and we grab the Chocolatey language server.dll, and we're going to put it somewhere. But that temp, you're thinking Windows, but there's nothing to stop someone running VS Code on a Mac or a Linux machine. So we would need the equivalent of temp for all those things. Now, I don't know where the right place to download an asset for a VS Code extension is. But anyway, let's start capturing some of this learnings that we've had. Some of us don't have that much storage available for temp files. That's the other point. It's not a small file, is it? I mean, it's going to be a megabyte or so. So I'm going to create an issue here. New issue. Download. Definitely. No. Download Chocolatey LSP assembly at runtime and place. Oh, that's when first running the Chocolatey VS Code extension, if LSP is enabled, we should check to find out what the latest version. No, that's not true. We should attempt to download the LSP assembly from somewhere. That somewhere will be a NuGet v3 feed, which is configured in the user settings of VS Code. The settings will also include a version number, which can be set to a wildcard. Wildcard will attempt to install the latest version available on the feed. A specific version number will attempt to only install that version number. It should be possible to use any NuGet v3 feed, i.e. first check the index.json file for the feed and find the flat container URL for a package. In our case, that's going to be hard-coded to be Chocolatey language server, most likely. And available versions. From there, download the nutkeg and extract as zip file and place the LSP assembly somewhere. No idea where that somewhere is just yet. Cry. Example, NuGet URLs. Let's go back to my notepad. Let's just grab all of these and stick them in here. Right, and what's about a new issue? Let's have a look. Where should VS Code extensions download files to? So I don't disagree with that. How do I find out where that is? Is there helper methods within VS Code that would tell me where that is? And if so, what are they? VS Code extension, find installation folder. In which path does Visual Studio install? What's the rest of that? Oh, here we go. Okay, so that's where they are. But how does one find them? What? Previous one. Which one are you talking about? Like this one? Find install. No. See, this is where I get stuck searching for stuff. Because is it Node? Is it npm? Is it TypeScript? Is it VS Code? How does one search for no. VS Code TypeScript extension installation folder. Have a setting for the Kim saying technically VS Code is using Node, so anything working in Node. So that part I get, but it's how to refine the search criteria to get example code for what I'm trying to find, if that makes sense. Because obviously if someone's passing this in, then we need to know what that is set to so that we can load it up from the right location. So there must be some way within VS Code to find that. There must be. Mm-hmm. Oh, hold on. Surely not. Surely not. console.log context dot extension path. Breakpoint. And come up with something. Copy a clipboard. And then if this gives me the answer, I'm then going to ask you what your search criteria was. Access files in the same working directory as the script calling them. Use. Oh, okay. Seems to only be needing to pass a relative path. Interesting. Part of me would still like to know where it is though. Because then, I guess we could just do an exists on the relative path. Come on. Huh. Look at that. So that is where it's running from. No, understood. But I think this will help us. What's this? Lots of URLs coming flying in now. VS Code. So that's slightly different. So that is giving you, those are giving you, I played with those ones before, that is giving you the path to the workspace that's currently open. So i.e. in this one here, see that's a bad example because they're the same, it's the same. So we would actually need to, see that's, yeah. Okay. But assuming that we can get all of this information, then we should be able to check what the latest version is available on the v3 feed in question, download the nutcag, extract it, and stick it somewhere. So that's going to be our plan for Friday. So we're going to come back on Friday, and we're going to have thought about this a little bit, or I'm going to have thought about this a little bit more. We are going to, well, we need to do two things. You're just throwing a spanner in the works now, aren't you, Kim? Questions. Should the download location for the LSP assembly be configurable? Maybes? Maybes? Questions. Maybe. But if it is, is that a relative path? From where? Kind of makes sense in cases where local versions installed or a configured edition is used. Oh, so you're referring to shipping, because at the minute we're directly running .NET against the DLL, but we spoke about potentially hosting a process that could then be, I see that as further down the line, if that's what you're referring to. I see that as phase 7 of this. But maybe, because if if that's the case, if we go down that route, not shipped in as we are shipping it. But okay, I think I'm going to call it. I've not got as much done tonight as I was hoping to, but I think we have made progress. But as alternative to downloading the program during runtime for the users that prefer that instead. Yes, like what arc thing it uses for OmniSharp. I see. Okay. So as long as you can, so you would be able to specify a directory to find the DLL in question. Yes. So we would need configuration options for whether or not to download. If not to download, well, that's where the path variable comes in. So they've specifically called it a path variable. So the path, we'd have to have a think about the configuration options. But I think we're getting somewhere. So feel free to add comments onto this issue, Kim 330, if you got more thoughts in there. I see that Stevie's come back and he has survived, so that's good. I am happy to hear it. Is the plan going forward to both and yours and my liking, or has some sort of compromise been reached? All is right. Beautiful. Glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. So I can expect some more PRs going into repositories, or not even PRs, just direct commits now that you've had that conversation. So I'll keep an eye out. Cool. Okay, I'll keep an eye out for it. Okay, but I'm calling it a night. I'm calling it a night. But we have a plan, and that plan will see us on Friday starting to download, put it somewhere, and execute that bad boy, and making the LSP run again, because at the minute it's currently broken. And once we get to that point, we can start looking at some of these other open issues and getting the rest of it configured. Because like I said, I would like to ship a version of this soon. I would like to get something out the door so that people can start playing with it. And yeah. Okay. Any other last minute questions, concerns, comments, anything like that before I sign off? Apologies for the yawning. Oh, that's the other thing. Yes, I should do that. I'm going to write that down. I had the same thought, Maurice, earlier, but I never. Shit. That just needs some environment variables set on AppVeyor to push them over. We also need to move some issues on VS Code repo to LSP. That's probably true too. Like this one. This is a big one. That can get moved over because this one is completely in the wrong place. There's some in here that make sense. And a project, I guess. On MyGet, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I don't think we have one yet, do we? We should probably create one for... Or... No, we probably don't. We should probably create one for Chocolatey community. Yeah, we should do that. Right. I have that written down. I will get that done. Okay. Final. Any last minute comments? If not, I'm going to go to bed. Oh, I'm sleepy. All right. I will talk to you tomorrow, Stevie, about all the things, and you'll probably have written them all by the time I get up. But have a good one. We will talk to you all later.